Hey, good morning. Welcome to this week's video. We finally got over the sickness at my house. So last week was a long week, but we're on the mend and doing a lot better. So yeah, just trying to catch up and keep things moving along this week with work. I actually just pulled up to the Hudson office. I have a pre-sign for a listing that's going to close next week, knock on wood. We never know until it's done, but all things are looking good. So we're just going to walk in, make sure everything goes off without a hitch here, and then we'll get to a little bit of paperwork and then hit the road. I've got kind of a short day. I've got to get my son to the dentist. We'll go see Dr. Pete. He's a good friend and a client as well. So it's always a great time to see him, and he does a great job with Levi. So we'll see what today brings, and if there's anything exciting, I'll get you guys tuned in. All right. Well, that pre-sign last week worked out. We closed officially on Monday this week, so it's always great to have another one taken care of and another happy client. We actually, kind of a cool story, we really pushed the price per square foot up with that listing. So had a really good conversation with a client yesterday talking about that, and there's a lot of noise, of course, in the real estate world right now, and with higher interest rates. And I guess one thing that we can all agree on and we can see in the data is that home prices are not falling. So even though rates are up, maybe the pace that homes are selling has slowed a bit. Certainly the volume has changed. We're just not seeing as many listings, and I mean that's been true for 3 years now. But nevertheless, prices are not falling. So I actually just got to a listing of mine in White Bear Lake, and just want to check on everything, make sure the place looks good, which it does. And I'll film a little bit more content here and then hit the road. So I want to talk a little bit about staging. Had some questions. I made a social post last week and had a few people reach out. So I thought I'd just touch on that quick today. So I have to just walk around the rest of this place, make sure everything looks good. Heat's on, which we need right now. Okay. I have my notes in front of me that will help me stay on point here. I know it can get a little rambly from time to time. So like I mentioned, last week I had a social media post about staging. I had a handful of folks get back to me with questions, some with personal feedback. So I thought I would just touch on that today a little bit in the video, and then in the newsletter as well, that hopefully you guys are signed up for and reading. So just a few quick stats on staging to kind of kick things off, and then I'll just actually provide a little anecdotal information. When it comes to staging a home, 82% of buyers say that it helps them visualize a space. And so we can talk a little bit more about when it's appropriate and maybe what rooms to focus on with staging. But that's a lot of people. I mean, 80% of people saying it helps them kind of see themselves in the home and how they could use the home. It's really good, especially if you have kind of a quirky layout or something like that. It can go a long way. The next stat is that actually homes that are staged spend 73% less time on the market. So, I mean, we are seeing longer times on market, but I mean, really, if we extrapolate that out, let's say you're listed for a month, that means instead of being on for a month, you're on for a week. So if you've got a family where you're living in the home, obviously the least amount of impact is the best. So in that case, staging might be the best case scenario for you. The great thing is, if you're still living in the home, there's some things we can do that are a little bit more economical. And then the last stat comes down to dollars and cents, right? What kind of return do I get with staging? I've seen stats all over the place. The one that I pulled this morning, it said up to. So, you know, a little asterisk there, a little caveat, up to 25% more. Now, if we're in an HOA community and there are two homes that are built, you know, they're both 5 years old, relatively in good shape. One sells for $300,000 unstaged. Does that mean the other unit gets $360,000? What would that be? Right? Yeah, $360,000-ish. No, right? You're not going to make that substantial of a jump. Now, where you'll see those kind of higher jumps will be in older neighborhoods. So I think there's a little bit more to that stat also. If it's staged, that's one thing, but I would also say making some actual renovations or updates is part of that figure. When it comes down to staging, I tell everybody it's situational. And the first scenario is if you still live in your home while you're selling it, and should you take all your furniture out and pay a stager to bring things in? No, because you can't live on staging furniture. Secondly, it's way more economical. So the staging company that I typically work with, I wrote it down here so I didn't screw it up, Home Staging Redesign Co. They're based in Western Wisconsin. They serve the entire Twin Cities metro. So they've been out to Lake Minnetonka. They've gone up into Cabin Country as well. So pretty much the entire footprint of Big River's real estate, that's where you'll find them. But what they do and what they offer are home consultations. I think this is like one of the most worthwhile things that you can do when selling your home, because what they'll do is they'll come in, and it can be an hour, it can be up to a full day, kind of depending on how much you ask them to do. But they'll consult with you and let you know, take these items out, move certain things into different rooms. It really goes a long way. It gets the house ready and really kind of redefines the space, because when we shop for homes, it's a lot different than how we actually live in the home. So that's a great thing that you can do with it. The second service would be what we would call kind of a traditional full stage, right? And that is when you have all or most of your personal items out of the home. Generally, either you've moved to your next house, or in some cases, like I'm sitting in new construction. You can see behind me, we have this staged. And that's when your stager comes in. They have a blank slate. They bring in all the furniture that you see. Again, if you have a vacant house, I really do think it's worthwhile to at least stage 2, if not 3 rooms. So obviously we have our living room that we want to have staged. If you have a family room or an entertainment room, that's another great space. Again, we want to emphasize the house and the features of the home. And then lastly would be the primary bedroom. Really important for people to be able to see, okay, we can get our king bed in here, we can get our dresser in here, and they can just see how to kind of orient their future bedroom. There's a lot more to staging that I can talk about. Eventually, I do want to get Home Staging Redesign to join me for an episode, but in the meantime, I'll just link their website in the description. Check them out, give them a call. I sold a property and I hired them. They came in, it was a vacant property. They came in, staged the whole thing. They actually made some really great suggestions. There was this kind of unused family room area, and I really never knew what to do with it. They came in and they repainted, put a new mantle up, and it ended up being kind of the focal point of the house. So they've got the eye for it, and again, it helps buyers visualize what their potential home could look like when they move in. So I hope this was helpful, and thanks for the engagement on social. That actually helped me kind of decide to make this video. Next week we have a really cool listing coming up in Pine City, Minnesota. It's right on the Snake River, which, if you're not familiar, the Snake River connects Lake Pokegama and Cross Lake, which Cross Lake is like by downtown Pine City. And so by boat, you can visit both lakes, go to downtown Pine City. You can also visit, obviously, any restaurants that are on the lake. So it's a really, really cool spot. Kind of a funky mid-century modern place. And it comes essentially fully furnished. I'll have some video content in the next video of that. And of course, I'll post the listing once it's out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the business, and we'll see you in the next video.